and reach for the stars, Sagittarius. I'm Bernadette, and I'm here with your Sagittarius Tarot reading for February 2021. You have the most... It's so perfectly logical that this card would come out for you and this spirit animal would come out for you at this time. My mind is always blown when it comes to the animal spirit guides and the tarot archetypes working together to orchestrate perfect messages and all that kind of thing. But this one really just kind of takes the cake because you've got Hummingbird as the Four of Wands in the month of love. The Four of Wands tarot card meaning is about romance and great success in romance, possibly even marriage, right? And then in terms of spirit animal meanings, you know, totems and power animals, that kind of thing, we always think of a hummingbird's beak as a sword or a wand of sorts. And so, and hummingbirds are, let me get into the reading because I could just talk about this all day long. Now, some of that is because when I read for a sign, pardon me, I tend to adopt the personality of that sign. And Sagittarius, you are nothing if not go, 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 go. Always got a goal in mind, always taking that bow and arrow and shooting for what you want. And goodness knows life is a big old party to you. Even though you think lofty thoughts, you know, like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz, I think lofty thoughts. And, but you're a real wizard, right? And so, but just that quickly, if somebody says, party over here, you can be like in the middle of solving world peace. And if somebody mentions the word party or even that much of a hint of an invitation of a good time, you're like, F the world. I'm going to the party and I'll get back to the world later when I'm done partying. I love that about you, mostly, having been married to a Sagittarius. So I do. I love that about you, mostly. So getting into your reading, you know, listen, again, going back to the Sagittarius, and Hummingbird, if you look at it in shamanic terms, if you look at it just in terms of straight up symbolism and meaning, both of you are drawn to life's nectar. And it's going to be really important this month to listen to the wisdom because it's, you know, Sagittarius's mantra or motto is I see. So that equates to great wisdom. And it's going to be very helpful to you, Sagittarius, to listen to the wisdom of this beansy critter, but that packs a really powerful symbolic punch. Now, hummingbirds, you know, even though they are mean-spirited, fierce, and can be super hateful little creatures. Have you ever seen them fight at a watering place or a place where they get their nectar? Oh my gosh, pardon me, they're like kamikaze pilots. And the cool thing, pardon me, about hummingbirds is they can fly backwards, they can fly sideways, they can zigzag. They are incredible navigators. And that's going to equate to the Sagittarius with their bow and arrow. Now, an arrow is only going to get to where it wants to go if it's flying straight and true. But we're talking about aim. And in the little hair's breadth worth of, you know, off that an arrow can be once you let it fly, Sagittarians are really good at making it hit their mark. Well, even though hummingbirds go upside down, backwards, and diagonally, they're going to get to where they want to go to. And with that beak, it's the same thing. So you're going to want to stay focused on your goals, but also be open to your arrow flying in a couple of different places before it hits its mark. Now, having said that, they're very playful critters, and to watch them is just such a delight. And it's also, you know, you bring in the Four of Wands and you're about harmonizing things, right? And maybe even harmonizing opposites in some way. So the divine masculine and the divine feminine come together in the hummingbird. And hummingbirds remind you to, you know, really kind of blend the opposing energies within yourself. Because one thing you guys do, you know, all you out there that are Sagittarians, it's your willingness and ability to be spontaneous. It is so amazing. But when you don't get the things done that you know you needed to do because you blew it off for a party or a good time, you all have a real tendency to beat yourself up until there's nothing left. So don't do that this month, right? Remember, when you've got the number 4, as you do in the Four of Wands tarot card within your tarot reading this month, that numerologically, like in numerology, that is an equal-sided structure. And breaking that down or bending it is going to be almost impossible. It's the strongest structure that there is. It's just almost impossible to bend or to break. Now, having said that, this month, for February 2021, intense changes and breakthroughs are in store for you, Sagittarius. So as the sign of the philosopher king or philosopher queen, you're super, super in tune to social justice and humanitarian matters. And this may be an important month for you to build on your mission and work towards growing innovations and changes that elevate the, uplift the everyday person. Now, does that mean you have to get involved in something long-term? No, it doesn't. But, you know, I know a person that it doesn't matter what charity there is around. If there's a donation to be made for something, he's the first one to pull out his wallet. Always, always, never fails, never, ever fails. And it can be not even that somebody asks him. He might be walking by something and look and go, oh, there's a booth for that, or oh, they're trying to do that. And he'll pull out his wallet and he'll hand them, you know, whatever he can afford at that time. That's uplifting to the everyday person. So don't freak out, Sagittarius. Nobody's trying to make you stay in one place for too long, right? It's just the theme of this. Now, all of this is happening because your planetary ruler, Jupiter, is slowly making his way through the radical and erratic sign of freedom, individuality, and social consciousness, Aquarius. For the first week of this month, Jupiter is close to the sun. That's going to amplify all the individualistic elements of Aquarian energy. And then, you know, as much as this sign is the sign of humanitarianism and communal progress, it's also the freedom-loving sign. You identify with that? Holy guacamole, do you identify with that? So it may be challenging at the start of February to remember that your own freedom comes with obligations to the community at large. But you, even that word obligation to you makes your blood run cold. You're just not a committer. You don't like, I mean, you like committing for the moment, but when there's another goal, another conquest to be made that looks shinier, you're off. Bye-bye. And, you know, listen, you know, hummingbirds are like that. If they're trying to find food and they see another plant or another feeder that looks better, they're out of there, and voo, 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 they go, you know, and you can hear hummingbirds coming a mile away. You know, they really do make that sound. So I'm sorry, I was listening to them, and I used to live in a place where we had a bunch of hummingbirds, and sitting on the porch, it sounded like a jet was coming straight for our house. But in any event, so you might be dazed, dazzled, captivated by the allure of doing everything according to your own desires, but realize that what you're being called to do during this month of love, which is basically to show love for the community at large, for your brethren and your sisterin, Hummingbird is going to remind you that true beauty comes from a collaboration and harmonizing with others. Now, you love to party with others, but when it comes to meeting a goal, you want everyone to stand out of your way. Do not get in the way of my bow and arrow. Step back, people. This is my job. I claim it. I own it. Back off. Don't do that. Just bite the bullet. Take, you know, just don't do that, because in the days leading up to the 5th, you might be facing a shakedown in your financial or career life because there's a square between Uranus in Taurus and Sagittarius in Aquarius, and that's going to bring tension and conflict to this part of your life. You tend to be adaptive and flexible, and that's going to help you at this time, but you are going to be much better served if you, God forbid, call on help. What? Or you engage, you know, the valuable services of, you know, Puss in Boots. But, you know, just engage somebody else's valuable services to help you out. Now, around the 10th of February, 2021, Sagittarius, you might feel more intuitive and sensitive to the needs of others, and your emotions, yes, you have them, fire sign, may be enhanced by the transit of the moon close to Jupiter. Also around the 10th, Venus passes by Jupiter, enhancing and amplifying your attraction energy in love and finances. So we take February, it's the month of love. We take the Four of Wands, which is all about love and romance and happiness and joy, and maybe, maybe even things unfolding exactly the way that you want them to. And especially in investments, which can mean literal physical money, or an investment in a person, investment in a business, investment in yourself. Sow those seeds with loving care, because you're going to gather a very, very rich harvest. Now, if love is on your mind this month, please, as they say, did you change your Facebook status? You may be getting ready. You may be fixing to, as we say down here in the South, you may be fixing to change your Facebook status from single to, in a relationship, whatever that means to you. That's exciting. Those are exciting times. So it might be shocking. It might be surprising. It might be unprecedented. It may be the proverbial as you wish kind of thing from the Princess Bride, that you meet, you see each other. That's it, man. There it is. And they are the one, and you are the one for them. I hope that happens for you. Truly, I do. We all wish for that, don't we? On the 13th, Mercury retrograde comes into conjunction with Jupiter, and while Jupiter is usually considered the benevolent or benevolent for enhancing the energy it encounters, in this case, it's disruptions and miscommunications associated with Mercury retrograde that stand to be amplified. Now, Sagittarians, you are not necessarily known for the greatest of communication. I'm not throwing shade on you or anything, okay? But you'd rather play the pursuer, catch it, wonk it on the head, kind of drag it back to your den, right? Or your cave. Not every Sagittarius, okay? But they're very goal driven, let's put it that way. And you're going to want to spend some extra time thinking over your communication during this month. Now, around the 18th, Jupiter forms a trine with the lunar north node, and that creates a highly fortunate breakthrough in communication. So that communication issue is only going to last for maybe those 5 days. Sorry, you guys, I'm talking about a fire sign, and it's as cool as it can be in here, and I'm just breaking out in a sweat. Lord, I've been doing this for 30 years. I still have to figure out how to channel the messages and not be the message. It gets me every time. You fire signs kill me. Okay, so, whether you have a large social network or a smaller social network, and there's really no such thing as large or small. It really, let's say how much they mean to you. However much your social network means to you, they're going to be able to help you move forward completing your mission. So, maybe let your peeps know that you're open to business opportunities, or you're open to love, or you're open to this, or you're open to that. And maybe they can hook you up in some kind of way. And this aspect continues through the end of the month and suggests that release of tension and an easier process of following your inspirations, your instincts, and your higher wisdom. So as you're aiming for things, don't shoot yourself in the proverbial foot by aiming your arrow in the wrong direction and letting it fly, too soon, if that makes sense. Okay, Sagittarius, that's your tarot reading for February 2021. I sure hope it was helpful. Pick up your copy of the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and get the monthly metaphysical mayhem. And as always, keep reaching for those stars.